Grüezi miteinander. My name is Eve, and on my channel I discuss how to teach your child German when you are not a native German speaker. Today's topic is taking my own advice. So I always tell people to make German learning fun. So a fun activity you can do with your child is looking up all the funny German words. For instance, Hand plus Schuh equals a Handschuhe. In German, a glove is a Handschuhe. Another funny word in German is die Glühbirne, which means glowing pear. So another fun activity you can do with your child is read a comic book with them. You can look at a strip of the comic book, and if you don't know a word, write down all the words you don't know, write the definition in English, go over the words with your child, and then at the end of the week, read through the comic book. And after every box, you ask them, well, what do you think that means? And they have the picture there to help them figure out the meaning of the word. Very similar to Bobo Siebenschläfer. You know exactly what the character is doing because of the picture. Well, just like in any other comic book, look at the picture. The picture is helping you figure out what the words mean. And since your child already knows the definition of the words because you wrote down all the words they probably don't know, then they can figure it out. But that's a great way to build up vocabulary. I feel like comic books are so wonderful with learning a language, even for an adult. Another fun activity you can do is you can Google baby animals or funny animals in clothes. And this is really great for very young children because if they see a picture and there's a pig wearing a hat with sunglasses on, for instance, that's really funny, that's really silly, that's gonna make them laugh. So if they see a pig in a hat, for instance, you can say, what is this? And they'll say, oh, it's a pig, that's a pig. And then you say, das Schwein. Can you say das Schwein? Das Schwein. And then you ask your child, well, what is the pig wearing? It's wearing a hat. Okay, now say der Hut. They'll repeat, and then you say a sentence. Das Schwein trägt einen Hut. And they will repeat you. Das Schwein trägt einen Hut. Then you can ask follow-up questions. Well, what color is the hat? Does the pig look happy? Does it look sad? What colors do you see in the picture? If the picture is taken outside, what's the weather like? Is it sunny? Is it warm? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is there snow on the ground? And so on. So you can ask so many questions with just one picture. And I would send our German tutor like 10 pictures, and that's all they would do. And my son absolutely loved it because there are so many funny pictures of animals wearing sunglasses or doing something silly, or a horse, you know, when they show their teeth. It's just so many funny animal pictures. Another thing you could do is send your German tutor pictures of your child when they were a baby, and funny pictures. I mean, we all have pictures of our baby eating spaghetti, and you know, there's spaghetti all over their face, or they're in a mud puddle, or splashing in puddles. And kids love looking at pictures of themselves. I know my kids do. And they can be like, oh, that's me. I'm wearing rain boots. They can go over the German word for rain boots. They can go over the German word for raining, umbrella, puddle. They're jumping in the puddle. They're happy. They're wet, and so on. You can build so much vocabulary by just doing this activity. So I've mentioned in the past how we use conversational starters. For instance, my boy's German tutor will ask my boys random questions like, what makes a good friend? Or who's your best friend? Or tell me a memory you had when it rained or it snowed. What did you do? And so on. And while your children are being asked all these questions, they can be playing with slime, Play-Doh, or finger knitting. The kids are going to fidget anyway, so you might as well give them something fun to fidget with and make it fun. You know, it's really hard to ask a child really young to just sit there. So let them play with slime. And my youngest was playing with slime while his German teacher was talking to him, and he had the greatest time ever and made German fun. And when he pressed the slime down really fast, it made this farting noise, and he just thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And so their German teacher was asking them, well, how far can you stretch the slime? What color is the slime? How does it feel like? And so on. So while they're asking regular questions, they can be asking like what they're doing. Oh, are you making it into a ball? Are you making a cheeseburger with your Play-Doh? And so on. Another way of learning German is by talking to yourself. I encourage my children to talk to themselves all the time in German. And I do this a lot when I'm doing the dishes. I'll just start practicing on the phrases I'm learning and the vocabulary of the dishes, like the plate, the fork, the knife. I'm putting the fork away, or the bowl, this bowl is bigger than that bowl, and so on. So in a previous video, I mentioned taking your child to an airplane museum, and that's what we did to learn the history of German airplanes and cars. And I also bought a few airplane models that my boys did, and this is a great way of learning history by also using their hands. I feel like with children, the more they use their hands to learn something, the better. They have the visual aid, and then you can go to YouTube and play the video of the airplane and how it was used and when it was used and what it was used for, and so on. So don't just learn a language, learn everything about that language: culture, customs, behavior, food, and so on. Another important way of learning German and for your children to learn German is by saying a random sentence to your child. Komm, wir lesen etwas zusammen. Gefällt dir das Buch? Du bist zu laut, sprich bitte leise. Was ist passiert? I always encourage people learning German to always play music. So anytime my boys are playing inside or outside, music is always being played. They are really into Deutsch Disney. We have a Spotify account, and I always play Deutsch Disney, and my children are really into Aladdin right now, so that's what I'll play. One of the most important things to do when you are learning a language and your children are learning a language is to make a ton of mistakes and to embrace those mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, you will never learn. If you never try speaking, you will never speak properly. So when I first started reading to my children, I read terribly. I had no idea what I was doing. It sounded bad. But you know what? My children saw this, but I did it every single day, and then I got better. I worked on my German pronunciation, and now I read really well. I'm a very strong reader. I may have to look up some words every so often, but I can pronounce the word that I'm reading. It shows your child it's okay to not be good at something when you first start something. You can try and try and try until you are pretty much perfect. So that's all I have today. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Dankeschön. Tschüss.